Alex, maybe I hope you could help us sort of better understand the product roadmap on a go-forward basis, how you guys are thinking about it from a high level. From our perspective, you guys did a really nice job of better modularizing the platform and made it more adoptable by commercial enterprises. And I think it looks like we've seen that traction in terms of customer adoption. What's kind of on a go-forward basis? Is there more activity of that ilk, if you will? Do you create more pre-built solutions, if you will, more directly target some of these sort of opportunities that you've been used for, but productize it, if you will? Is that a potential product direction? And then on the other side of the equation, in terms of investments, investing for growth into 2022, I was hoping you could give us a little bit of visibility into the nature of those investments. Is it just sales headcount? Is it the forward deployed engineers? How should we think about where those dollars are being deployed? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. And so actually, to my perspective, they're very much linked. Our primary investment in growth is investment in product, and we're doing a number of things in product. The things we've talked about at a general level is kind of making our product more modular. There's a slightly more macro riff here, which is that we were adversarial with IT structurally until recently. We were adversarial because from our perspective, there's a learning process where they had to build these things. Now there's a myriad of companies. They're all honestly technically hard to indistinguishable, doing data lakes and all sorts of things that help IT people build something that is working for them to do certain things. And we were adversarial because they were like, okay, this Foundry thing, yeah, great, but we've already built these things. You would replace this. It honestly could also make us look bad. No one wants it. Also, the average sale price for Palantir Foundry across our business, I think last year was like 6.5 million. Most IT people prefer a small bite and consumption. You can argue whether that's the right model, but instead of fighting them, it's probably better to figure out a way to get our product more in their hands. So that's kind of the known part. What we've been working on recently, which is less known, is what we're really working on is we believe that people are paying a lot now for consumption and compute. No critique. But in reality, that's very much like paying for gas and oil exploration. But what people are really going to want is the ability to use the fully digested product. It's like when you drive your car, that's minerals and oil products and all sorts of chemicals built into your car, finished product. So, and we're going to build both modules that are reflective of Foundry, but also new ones in areas that we understand and quite frankly, we know will be built in the near future, so that things we know are working, things that we suspect will work in the future, so that the nodes not only work separately, but can work together. So de facto, we believe the compute of tomorrow won't be just compute. It will be productized compute. And that's what we're actually working on in rebuilding Foundry. So now, there's still, that doesn't mean like the Foundry as an aggregate, we can do the whole thing tomorrow thing. Massively valuable. And we're working on very, very large deals where companies are like, look, we want to transform what we're doing or take what we're doing and export it to every company in our industry tomorrow. De facto, that's a Foundry use case, and I don't think there's anything else that does that. Because you can take, for example, there's a very large company in the healthcare space, and it's like they have a very interesting way of doing healthcare. They can't sell it to other people without that essentially being a software offering. Building that would be 3 years, or it could be 2 weeks. So that we're very much committed to continuing doing, because there's like we're an N of 1 there. But where we want to be is an N of 1 on not just making it small. We like that because then we see the IT departments now saying, okay, well, we have all these things, and now we want to migrate here, and then selling them something that they can actually bite into. So it's because the primary resistance to Palantir has never been lack of Salesforce, it's been resistance on the inside of the IT structure. And so now we're going to give them something they want, and then also build an ecosystem around it. So it's what I think people will want going forward. And so people can stop just buying pure compute. They can buy valuable compute. And so that's actually a big project. I would say on that end and on these other ends, what's particularly interesting, I mean, it's obvious, but it's not just the dollars. It's like who's spending them. Just like the charisma of what we're doing. We're a company that's like 15 years old and say like from revenue, 18 years old from concept. Is a company like ours should be getting declining talent. The talent we're getting now is the best in the world. It's the best we've ever gotten. And we're getting people who used to be at Palantir. Everyone knows how good our people who are coming back. Just like no company of our pedigree gets people coming back. And the reason they're coming back is because this is just fucking cool. It's like you do this, you change the world. Now, there's a lot of other things we're working on the side to actually make sure. One of the things we failed at, honestly, is capturing the value of what we've done. Most of the products you would see on a map in an industry, any company, they're delivering things we built 7 years ago. We failed in capturing the value of that. We're not going to fail again. We failed in capturing the value of that because we were selling to IT and selling to people in an adversarial way. And we were 7 years, 8 years ahead, but 8 years ahead, but they can't actually interact with you. That's not the right way to do it. And we're not going to do it that way in America, so we're building a specialized sales, which means it will take longer to get it to work because we're working. And in Europe, we have it differentiated on the idea that, so if you just look at the raw numbers, if you look at like, where we are investing in, it's like sales hires, very high-end salespeople in Europe, and then the rest is just like the best tech engineers in the world because we know we get them, we retain them, and it's just very differentiated.